welcome to another episode of the Far Off Show where I am Damien Fari, and tonight we're talking Leatherheads. I know what you're thinking, Damien, what is Leatherheads? Well, Leatherheads is one of my favorite movies. When I say favorite, I mean it's probably in my top like 20. I don't know what it is about this movie, but I really love this movie. I think it's a great movie that anybody should watch. If you like sports or romantic comedies, it's kind of got a mix of both. There's a little friendly rivalry in here, so I like it too. So, pretty much the basic plot is Dodge, who's played by George Clooney, is a likable character. He plays for the Duluth Bulldogs. He's number 7. I don't know why. I just wrote that down because I thought it was cool and interesting. And I'm getting the jersey, so I feel that was important to write down. But he's number 7. There's going to be a photo of John Krasinski and George Clooney right there. George Clooney directs this movie, actually. So, it's one of his directed movies, and I love it, to be honest. I like football, and I like romantic comedies to an extent, so the fact that they combine them really well together works great. John Krasinski is Carter Rutherford, a war hero with a secret. A war hero with a secret is really all there is to say. Like, what's his secret? And you figure out midway through the movie, to be honest, but it doesn't ruin the movie. It's still good. Like, I like the fact that over time, it's still like, yes. So, pretty much Dodge just wants pro football to be legitimate. This is the 1920s is around when it takes place, so pro football wasn't legitimate yet. It was still just a joke. Players that went to college would not go to the NFL because, well, the NFL didn't pay well. It wasn't a really liable or, legitimate way to make some money. Because what would happen? You get paid like crap when you could be getting paid a lot more. So they would just go from college to a real job, to be honest. When I say a real job, I mean not football. So, and then to point out, this is a good movie. And when I say it's a romantic comedy, both of the guys have a friendly rivalry where they're both trying to get Renee Zellweger's character, Lexi Ledington, her, I guess, heart, I could say. They want to win her over, really. And I think it's kind of an interesting thing that she's the reporter trying to figure out what Carter is hiding, and Dodge is just trying to get him on his team, which ends up happening. We both figure out the secret, and he is on Dodge's team for a couple of games, and then they find out, hey, this is going to work. So he joins the Chicago Bulldogs as number 15, which he was number 15 on the he was on the Duluth Bulldogs, and then he joined the Chicago Buffaloes, which Chicago and Buffaloes are not two things that mix in all in my mind, but whatever. So Renee Zellweger, is just trying to get a story, and she gets it. Pretty much, he was a war hero, but in a weird way in the fact that he fell asleep. Oh, spoiler alert. Let's stop right now. If you haven't seen this movie, go see this movie. This isn't really that big of a spoiler because it's not too big of a deal. But he falls asleep. And his guys retreat, but they forget him. And then the Germans join him, but they taught him the word for surrender in German. So he yells it in German, and then all the other Germans surrender too. So the idea is that, oh, he surrendered, we're gonna all surrender. And then his team just comes up and they're like, Carter? And in the end, he was technically a war hero, which I thought was funny. But pretty much the moral of the story is, George Clooney is on his last leg pretty much for football. Like, he's at that age where he needs to retire. I think they said he was 38. It'll be right there. So he was at that age where he should retire, and he, wants to go out on a high note. So he kind of cheats in the end and wins the game. But that's awesome. I love this movie. It's an FAR. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I know it's football season. That's why I'm wearing the Packers hat, because they're still in it. So I feel like now's the time to go give it a watch. It's on demand on Spectrum. I know that because I have Spectrum and I watched it for free. But I'm going to go buy this movie again because I haven't seen it in years. So I thought, give it a watch. If I like it still, give it a buy. So what do you think of Leatherheads? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and have a far off night.